Welcome to Round 1, the series where we play just the beginning of a game to give you a taste of what it's like. In today's game, we will be playing Alder, which is an area control tile placement game with match 3 based resource collection and scoring. Players are going to be representing factions of animal combatants competing to collect victory points from their opponents. To do so, throughout the game, players will manipulate the matching board, lay tiles that are hidden to their opponents, activate hero abilities, play schemes and traps, and move their minions about the battlefield in search of enemy acorns, which translate directly into points. The player that has the most points by the time that winter sets in is going to win. You'll witness every move that we make, and after the dust settles, join us as we discuss the entire experience and find out which of the two combatants came out on top.
Welcome to the table. Today we have it set up 1v1, mano a mano, with me and Ryan. We're going to play Alder. This is a 1 to 4 player game, but it's really built around a 1 versus 1 sort of scheme for sure.
Yeah, it's very much a back and forth push and pull, trying to take these acorns off the board and score these acorns through a variety of steps.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game because we'll go over the components really quickly. We're not going to go into the details of how to play until we're actually playing. And we're going to probably play not exactly 1 round, but maybe 3 rounds. We're going just to show you enough of the game so you get a flavor for it. So what we've got here in front of us is a main board, which has this tree with the canopy. And these are actually spaces here up on the canopy. This is where our minions are going to be tributing acorns, or these acorn tiles that they pick up around the board. Down here on the main board, we have my acorns here, Ryan's over here. We're going to be deploying minions out onto the board, running them around, picking up these acorns. Some of them may be traps. And then over here, this is probably one of the most unique and coolest aspects of the game. This is the matching board.
And on this matching board, we're almost going to be playing like a drop-it style game, where you're dropping tiles down here, trying to match different sets of these tiles. And there's a lot of different manipulation. Yeah. So the core of the game is using your heroes to take actions. Those actions will let you do things like summon the minions, but they will also let you manipulate this matching board.
Yeah, the heroes that Ryan mentioned are based in a few different factions. And at the beginning of the game, we've already set it up here, but you're going to be choosing which factions you want to play, and then each faction is going to have 2 heroes. Now you notice that I only have 3 of them set up here. You're going to choose 3 of those 4 and place them in the rightmost, the leftmost, and the center column as you set things up. And then you're going to take, of each of the factions you've chosen, the minion deck, shuffle them up for each different faction and place them in between your heroes.
Yeah, and each one of these heroes has special abilities that are going to allow us to manipulate the game in different ways. And each one of these minions has 2 sides. You have your basic side, which just lets your minion move around the board, collecting those acorns. But if they collect a special kind of acorn, which is a snowflake, or if they manage to get an acorn all the way back to the canopy of that tree, you get to flip them over to an upgraded side. And at that point, they actually have some special abilities that will change the way they can move and interact with the game.
And we touched on the matching board a little bit, but like Ryan said, this works like a match 3 game. Now, there's a couple different types of tiles that'll go on here. The ones you see right here are rune tokens. These are associated with our various factions. So there's going to be some tokens for me. There's going to be some tokens for Ryan. We're going to want to collect tokens of our factions to use those as resources to do some of the powers that our heroes can do, as well as play some quarrel cards. The quarrel cards are things that will either have an immediate effect or potentially enhance the traps that you set out on the board. As you match things, you're going to be either taking them off and discarding them, or taking them off and keeping them. In addition to the rune tokens, these acorn tokens are also going to be added to the matching board, and when those are matched, you're going to either collect them or discard them again, hopefully collecting your opponent's acorn tiles, scoring points for the end of the game, because throughout all of these tokens are going to be these snowflake tokens, and I'm going to sneak and show you one right now that I have set up. Ryan, don't look. Snowflake tokens are going to go in there, and as those are matched, those are going to be wilds. So you can match those with a number of different things, and when they're matched, they're going to go across the bottom of the board because winter is coming, and once all 4 of these snowflake tiles get added to the bottom of the board, that will signify the end of the game.
And at the start of the game, we each have, like David said, 2 of those snowflakes. We also have a 1, 2, and 3-point acorn that we've mixed into these total 5.
I'm going to switch mine around really quick so that you don't know.
We'll have these set up in kind of a W shape like you see here. There are no traps in play at the start of the game, but eventually some of these acorns will be traps that can be triggered to bad effects for you.
Yes, or potentially good effects if you're the one laying the trap.
That's true.
On your turn, you're able to activate each of your heroes to do one thing. Now there's a list of basic actions you can take, and you'll see those as we play, but each hero also has a unique action they can take, and these are going to require spending some of the rune tokens that you can collect by using the matching board.
Yeah, and what factions did you choose, David?
I have the Hunters, which are the green ones, and I chose 2 of those, Gerard and Alex, and then the Bards, which I just took Elsa.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you their powers, or do you want them to be surprises?
I'd like to know what I'm getting into.
So Gerard has a slash ability, and this uses 1 rune token. I can destroy 2 adjacent faction runes on the matching board. So I'm able to basically not only remove things and manipulate the board, but I'm removing your faction tokens, so you're not able to collect them as resources. Elsa has the Beckon ability. This is going to use 2 different rune tokens, and I can reveal 2 rune tokens out of the rune pouch, and this is the bag where we're always going to be drawing runes to fill this board, and deploy them, and I can deploy them in any one of the 4 columns, and then my opponent is going to draw a tile. Now, one thing we didn't talk about is we each have this tile bag that's our own. These tiles are not necessarily tiles you want to be drawing, really, but you're going to have to at the end of your turn, and then if your opponent makes you. When you draw these, you're going to keep them till the beginning of your next turn, because then you're going to deploy them out onto the board, basically giving your opponent more things to collect.
Yep.
Lastly, I have Alex. Alex has the airdrop. This is actually one of the cooler abilities I hope to be using against you. Airdrop costs 2 rune tokens. I can move any ally minion, so these are the minions that I've deployed out on the board, to any ground space on the board and drop them off. And that would normally exhaust that minion, so I couldn't then move them, but if I spend another 2 tokens, I can actually keep them unexhausted, so then they can move.
Powerful.
Yeah.
All right, and on my side, I chose the Thieves and the Guardians. I chose 2 Guardian heroes. I have Lily. Her Watch Over ability costs 2 runes, but I can protect any one of my allies from being attacked, which actually can serve them as a blocker. Yeah. Because if you can't attack an enemy, you can't move into its space. And then Clarence lets me return my acorns back to my bag if I have an ally adjacent. So I can start to kind of clear them off, maybe leaving only some traps or low-scoring acorns. And then my Thief, Sebastian, has a Cannonball ability. I can destroy any of David's runes and make him draw another tile out of his bag to place on his next turn.
That's rough. Now, and keep in mind, these powers aren't going to come in to play round after round, because we also have to exhaust our heroes once they do anything, including any of the basic actions that they're allowed to do. So, we're all set up. I've drawn, because I'm the second player, I've drawn 2 quarrel cards. You've drawn 1.
Yep.
At the end of your turn, you'll see what we do, but you're going to draw another quarrel card if you have 3 or less, and you're going to draw a tile out of your pouch. But with that, you may begin the game, Ryan.
So the first thing you're going to do on each one of your turns is ready everything that's exhausted. Of course, this is the first turn. So we're going to skip right to drawing rune tiles from this bag. And I'm going to get to draw 3 of these and place them here at the top of the matching board. And these runes can be dropped at any point in my turn, but I have to drop all 3 before I can continue on.
Yeah, the end of his turn will necessarily require that all 3 of these be dropped at some point or another.
So I'm actually going to start by dropping 2 of them in a row.
I wonder where.
I'll drop 1 here and 1 down here, and you see I have a match 3, so I get to take all 3 of these and place them in front of me, and I can use these 2 power abilities.
So he took those as resources because they are Guardian rune tokens.
So they are Guardian rune tokens. Now, I have to spend the like color of tile to summon a Guardian, but the person that summons it doesn't matter.
Right.
So, but I will, in this case, actually use Lily to summon a Guardian. So I'm going to return this Guardian rune and take the top of my stack and put it in her row.
Yeah, so summoning a minion is one of a handful of different basic actions that the heroes can take.
Now, what's very interesting is that I can do all these actions in different orders. I can come now and activate my minion, which I will. Minion can move up to 2 spaces and then exhaust, so they'll tap like that. Now, I still have 2 heroes left in which I could take actions. David doesn't have any runes, and I don't necessarily want to return this to my pouch, so I'm going to use them to affect the matching board. Sebastian, I'm going to use an action called Drop. I get to draw one tile for each of these rows and drop a tile from this bag. Obviously, I'm hoping to make some matches for me and not my opponent, but we'll see.
And keep in mind, too, when you drop a line, as this is called, they're all falling simultaneously, so you won't resolve any of the matches until all 4 tiles are added. Well,
all right, that wasn't so bad for me.
Not too bad. Also set me up a little bit.
I did kind of set you up, but that
unless you want to take them.
I could. So if I match David's tiles, they get removed from the game. He doesn't get to match them on his turn. But I don't know that I'm going to do that. In fact, I think I'm going to use my last hero to do a swap. So I'm going to swap these two. I can swap any 2 orthogonal tiles. So I can swap these 2, making that match here, and I get to claim all 3 of these and destroy the board in the process. However, I have no heroes left, so I can't use these right now. I have to drop this tile, though, so I have to consider where to drop this. I don't want to set you up with any kind of chain. I'm going to drop it here and have it land there. So hopefully that didn't help you too much.
Not too much. We'll see what my tile draw is.
I don't have 3 cards, so I have to draw a card. And I have to draw a tile from the bag. And this tile is going to have...
I won't look.
Possibly a snowflake or a trap or a number on the back, which is the number of victory points it's worth. I can kind of look at this and start planning where I'm going to place this on my next turn.
And you can place that eventually anywhere where there's not a minion or another tile.
So that's it for me.
I don't have anything to ready from an exhausted state, so I'm going to draw my 3 tiles. Got one of those, which is one of Ryan's.
Yep.
One of these, which is one of mine. And come on, another one of mine. Yes, excellent.
So that's mine.
Oh, that is yours.
That's thieves.
Yeah, that doesn't help me too much. In fact, you don't have much on the board. So what I'm going to do, let's see here. I am going to use Gerard to slide. Is it called slide? Yeah, slide is where you're not swapping, but you're just moving one. And I'm going to slide this one here. Right. So note, when I slide this, this is naturally going to fall just like gravity would pull it down. Then I'm going to choose to go ahead and drop one of mine.
Oh, nice.
And get those 3. Then I am going to use Elsa to summon a minion. And I am going to summon this guy right here in front of Elsa, and that's going to cost me one of my tokens.
Yep.
And then finally, I think I'll use Alex with the airdrop for these 2 tokens. I'm going to use those 2 tokens to use as airdrop. Move an ally minion to another space. So I'm going to airdrop this minion way over here on top of this token. Now, I have a couple options here. I can either dismiss this and send this token back to his pouch, or I can reveal it. At this point, I don't think he has any traps on the board because he hasn't added any, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it, and it's a snowflake. So the snowflake is going to do a couple things. One, it's going to immediately upgrade my minion. So now I've got an upgraded minion to the Bobcat Ranger. This has a couple of different abilities. He's got speed and a confront ability. Confront is when I'm going to take him and potentially confront one of his heroes directly. I can do some special things. But the snowflake token gets added to the discard pile, and that's all that's going to happen. Yeah,
because he comes in, he exhausts.
Yes, and he exhausts from the airdrop, and I am done with my hero abilities. I still have 2 to drop here. Ugh.
Yeah, you have to drop them.
I've got to drop them. I'm probably just going to drop this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. You've got 1, 2. Yeah, I'll drop this one here.
So I'm going to untap or unexhaust all of my heroes and minions and start my turn over. I do have to place this tile that I had from last turn.
By the way, did you draw an
I did.
Coral? I needed to do that.
Put this acorn all the way over here in this corner, away from your minion. And let's see what I get here. Hopefully I get some of my color. That's not me. Uh-oh. All right, that's not great at all.
No, I like that. That's good.
Actually, this is not bad for me, because what I can do is drop this one here, and I'll drop your rune right here, which is going to chain these.
Yep.
Now, since I destroyed David's runes, I don't get them. They just go away. These are going to drop down. And anytime you destroy your opponent's runes, you have to do a drop. So you're going to drop a whole line. So we're going to put these.
And that can be a good thing, really.
It could be. And these are all going to drop at the same time. So we'll just kind of
put them up there.
Put them up there and then see what happens when they, because it could cause a chain.
It could.
It doesn't look like it's going to this time. I'd have to put.
Do like the match 3 mechanic. I've not seen that utilized in a game like this.
No, it's very cool. I don't really need extra runes. I mean, I have enough runes to power what I want to do.
You do have plenty of runes.
So the first thing I'm going to do is use Lily to summon a minion.
So a guardian minion again?
Another guardian minion. And you're correct. I am just going to fight here.
Okay.
I'm just going to destroy both of our minions. So
they go to the bottom of our minion deck.
Yep. Now, this minion that's already in play, I'm going to move 2 spaces and reveal this acorn. It is a 2-pointer. However, I am also in a dangerous position because you could summon a minion there and destroy my minion.
I could, but it's also going to take you a little bit to get over under the tree to tribute. So now that he has this acorn, he needs to move to one of these spaces underneath the canopy of the tree. And it takes 1 movement to go from that space up to the canopy, at which point he'll automatically tribute.
I was honestly really hoping that was a snowflake. All right, so I'm going to need some more minions on the board because I'm guessing that minion is going to be destroyed. So
maybe.
Let's summon another minion here with Clarence, and I'm going to summon a thief this time. And why not? From Sebastian's row, I will go ahead and summon a 3rd minion. So now I have 3 minions on the battlefield. I still have to drop that yellow. Let's just go ahead and drop that there.
Okay, so it's my turn?
That is.
I have my heroes only to unexhaust because Ryan destroyed my minion. And I've got 1 token to add to the board. Let's see. Ooh. I'm going to add that here.
Interesting. Okay.
Put it up there. It might be a trap, Ryan.
It could be, but you don't have any traps.
Or it might not be. It could be. It could be a trap that I pulled out of my bag. It might not be. Or a trap token anyway. So on my turn, let's see. I am going to use... Oh, I got to draw some tokens here.
I don't know if you're trying to trick me into going for that tile.
I might be. I might be. I'll be honest with you. Or maybe not. Okay, I probably... Oh, there's really...
I like the way
you know what?
this looks.
I'm going to drop. Boom.
Yep. Get rid of all those.
Take those off the board, and then we drop a line.
Yep.
So this is going to go here. Ooh, this board is getting full. Okay, that's looking good.
Good for you.
There. Oh, and this one is going to go down here. One of yours. All right.
Can you make a match?
Yeah. Yes, so I'm going to use. I'm going to use Gerard, I think. Yep. To swap those.
Yep.
And take these. All of these will fall.
Yep, that was good.
And let's see, do I want to... I feel like I need to get minions on the board. So this game, you're tempted to just sit here and match all day long because it's so fun to match. But like Ryan said, once you have plenty of runes, you want to get minions out on the board because this is the other part of the game that's vital because you got to get these minions around to pick up these acorns. I definitely am going to use Elsa again to bring out a minion. This time it's going to be one of my bards. But I will drop this one here.
Nice.
And this one here.
All right. Still have 1 action.
I still have 1 action. So I am going to airdrop. So I'm going to use these 2 tokens to airdrop an ally to another space. I'm going to take this ally and I'm going to drop him. I'm going to drop him back here. And I am going to reveal it. It's a 2.
It's a 2-pointer.
So he's exhausted, holding a 2 acorn. What will you do?
I mean, I
imagine you'll probably... And I've left your guy here unattended.
But I can't reach the canopy with that guy. So you'll have another turn to deal with him.
So I had 3 of these, so I can't draw another one, and I have to draw another token out of my bag.
All right, so you're doing a good job. You're not ending your turn with any runes, so Sebastian hasn't had any runes to destroy.
Right.
All right, I'm going to have to place this out. Let's place it right there. And let's see what my 3 runes are. So it looks like we're actually out. The bag is empty, so we're going to have to shuffle these in, including that snowflake.
Yep.
when that snowflake comes onto the board, it can be used as a wild to match acorns, which we haven't seen yet. But
yeah, and when it matches, it will go to the bottom of the board, progressing the game along towards its end.
Oh man, board is looking really full.
It is getting full.
Of course, I didn't get what I needed, which was a guardian token, but I do have a bard and 2 thieves. I'm going to, because I don't know if I can trust this or not, I'm going to spend my thief rune to play one of these cards. This says infiltrate. Move an ally minion to any space with a face down enemy tile and reveal it. If it is a trap, it is negated.
Oh, so it's basically the bomb diffuser.
Let's see. It's not. So that
now you've got 2. So I have a chance still to stop him.
You do still have a chance to defeat him.
It's going to be rough, though.
It's going to be rough, especially because I don't really want you to be able to defeat him. So I think what I'm going to do with Clarence is do another drop. And I'm getting dangerously close to filling up this board.
Yeah, if at any time you need to put a token in any one of the columns on the matching board and there's no room, you'll automatically destroy the bottom line. And you've...
Oh, snowflake.
Snowflake.
So this drop did not actually help me too much. I don't have another green. I could do another drop, but since there's nothing left here, it's actually going to remove the bottom row here.
Which is 3. You are only losing 1 that way.
Yeah, but I'm losing... Well, I
guess you could manipulate it first.
I could swap those two so that I collect them.
Also, I don't know why I'm helping you.
I don't know. Well, it's fine. I'm going to use Sebastian to swap these 2 tiles here so I can at least collect some. These aren't the color I wanted. These are all going to drop down. But that does give me space to now drop both of these red ones. So actually that did work out well for me.
Yeah, pretty well.
In the end, I wasn't sure. I still have to leave yours here, so let's go ahead and drop yours right there.
Yeah, and that snowflake is just going to sort of clog things up until we get some acorns out there, because the snowflake is only a wild for acorns. It has nothing to do with the rune tokens.
Right, so I'm going to spend 2 of my watch over, or 2 of these to watch over. This is Lily's action. Choose a minion. It cannot be attacked until my next turn. I'm going to protect this minion holding these acorns.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I could lose my minion to destroy your minion, but you're getting 1 acorn. I'm bringing in 2. I'm not as worried about that.
Plus, you're able to go up in 1 action when you move and move up. It's going to take me 2 actions to get up in the canopy.
Potentially, unless I goad you over.
That's true.
So I'm going to move that guy there.
That's true.
And exhaust him. I'm going to move this one here and exhaust him. So now you have to decide. However,
interesting.
I am going to look at my tiles really quick because I don't really remember what
you can look at your own acorn tiles just to remember what you've placed and where.
All right, I'm going to use my 1 guardian rune to play regroup, return an unrevealed tile to my tile pouch. I'm going to take this one from behind the tree, return it in my pouch. My heroes cannot be confronted this turn, so my heroes are protected.
Nice.
Now I have to draw one of these.
I should take a look at
my turn. So
coral cards. You're done?
All right, that's me. I got to draw a coral card. I drew the acorn. I am done. So
we've both gone a couple times now, right? So
we have. This is the 3rd turn.
This is my
actually.
3rd turn.
But you kind of see how it takes a few turns to kind of get into the meat of the game because you kind of want to prepare.
Absolutely.
Set up your minions and things like that.
All right, so I'm going to unexhaust these guys. Unexhaust him now. I need some runes badly, although there's a lot going on the board right now that could help, for sure.
There is. You didn't get a green one, which is good. I was hoping you wouldn't.
And if you're wondering also, now we're playing with a prototype that didn't have these rules implemented, but there is a rule for when you match 4 or more of your own rune tokens.
There's an advanced rule.
It makes your faction or that faction exalted, which gives an ongoing effect for that faction. You put a little flag up on the tree that has an ongoing effect until someone changes that, of course. I was contemplating because I was looking to see if there's a way to get 4 here, but I don't think there is before 3 would match.
Right. You have to cause the combo to get 4.
So I'm going to go ahead and do these really quick.
Which hero are you using for that?
I'm using Gerard to get those 3. And then these 2 will fall. I only, you know what? Oh, I need another tile so badly.
Yeah, well, there's some potential to make matches. You just have to
I'm going to
use your
use
heroes.
Elsa. I didn't want to use her to do this, but I'm going to use Elsa to swap these two.
Yep.
And collect these. So now I've got a good healthy stack of tokens. So I'm going to use Alex to airdrop 2 tokens.
Nice.
For Alex to airdrop my guy right here.
Oh,
I'm going
nice.
to get while the getting's good. So he's dropping him on any ground space. I'm dropping him right below the canopy. Now, this minion would exhaust. You can't see him, but he's behind the tree here. He would exhaust. However, if with his airdrop I spend another 2 tokens, it doesn't exhaust him. So now this minion can do his movement. He's going to move 1 up here. He's immediately on the canopy. He is going to now deploy this acorn or tribute it to the matching board. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just send it way down here.
Nice.
And when he also does that, whenever you tribute, you're also going to upgrade. So he upgrades to the Finch Rogue, which also has flight and another confront ability. So that exhausted Alex, and now I still have all of these to drop.
Yeah, you have to drop them.
I guess I will drop this one here, this one here, and this one here.
All right. That's it for you?
Yeah, so that's it for me on this turn. We're going to play one more round. I thought we were going to do 3, but I think we'll do 4.
Yeah, we're just getting into the meat of it now.
Just getting into the meat of it. So I'm going to draw my token. Oh, you know what I didn't do at the very beginning of my turn?
Put your token out?
Place this token out. So I'm going to place this. Ooh,
yeah,
I'm going to place this way back here. So I'm drawing my new token. I've still got my coral cards. And these guys are all exhausted.
All right.
He is technically exhausted too, even though you can't see him hiding behind the treetop.
I'm going to, ooh, there's one I like.
The matching board is getting pretty fierce.
3. So now, I'm going to see, okay. So first thing I'm going to do, obviously move this minion 2 spaces. 1 to here, and 2 to come up onto this tree.
Uh-oh.
So I get to tribute 2 of these.
Yep.
Actually, before I do that, let's shift this down, and then it'll slide, so I can tribute these here and here, which will make a match, using the snowflake as the wild. So every time an acorn comes like that, it's going to drop in. So I'll take these 4 points, and they'll come over to my side of the game. However, this snowflake drops down here. That is a trigger, one of the 4 snowflakes we need to end the game. So we're a quarter of the way through, but we're going to start seeing these snowflakes come a lot faster as we progress. So
yeah, but it also takes the snowflake off the board, so I can no longer use it.
It does. So this guy's going to level up to Porcupine Cleric. When the Porcupine Cleric is revealed, or whenever I reveal or tribute, move this minion to any space. So I'm not going to get to do that right now. But he is going to hang out up there.
So how many heroes have you used now? Just
I've
one?
used the one.
Okay.
Shifted, and then the 1 minion. I'm going to... You actually do have a rune this time.
Yeah, I have a couple runes.
I'm going to play this Divine Fortune. For each of my face-down tiles, which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I may draw 5 tiles from this bag.
Yeah, and I don't think we mentioned, but when you play a coral card, it's not one of your actions, but you do have to spend a rune token of the associated color to play it.
I have to refill the bag.
So you're dropping a line?
No, I get to draw 5 rune tiles out of the bag. For each one of mine, I get to add it to my pool of things to drop. The rest are discarded. So out of all 5 of those, I got 1.
Well, that's all right. But the good news is you pulled mine out of play for a while.
I did pull a couple of them out of play.
Interesting.
So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move this minion 2 spaces and reveal this tile. It's a 1. And then I'm going to move this one 2 spaces and reveal this tile, which is a 3.
If you can't tell, Ryan is much more adept at these types of games.
I'm a little more of an aggressive player, is the thing. Yeah, I play pretty aggressively.
So these guys
However,
are exhausted.
Yeah, both of those guys are in danger of potentially dying.
True.
From your minions.
I think
especially when you could just airdrop them anywhere.
I may
and
get
crush
more
my
aggressive
guys.
that way.
Because I know you're going to do that, I'm probably going to just use my last 2 actions to summon 2 more minions. So we'll just summon 2 more thieves. 1, 2. All right, that's all I get to do. I only have 1 card, so I'm going to draw a second card, and I'm going to draw one of these tiles.
All right, I'm just going to tell you up front, my last turn here is going to be to go a little on defense.
All right.
So I'm going to unexhaust my heroes. I do still have this minion atop the tree.
That's true.
Oh, I wish I could move one of your guys. If I had a power, there's a really cool ability. If there's an enemy minion below you on the canopy,
you can crush them.
You can do an elbow drop on them where you don't get exhausted, or you don't get taken out of play, but only they do. But that's not the case here. So I'm going to first move my minion. I'm going to go 1, 2.
And destroy both minions.
And destroy both minions.
Yep, so
the acorn just drops to the ground, and these minions go to the bottom of their decks.
Well done.
And then let's see. Oh, you didn't drop any of these.
Oh, I didn't drop these. It's fine. Because I couldn't really make any pairs, so I just didn't even worry about it.
Now you've really filled up the board.
Yeah.
So I've got to draw 3 more, and I have 3 of them to drop. Yeah, when you're not focused, oops, I drew 4. When you're not focused on the matching board, it's hard to remember that you
I was ready to
drop
I couldn't make any matches. I was like, I don't even want to drop these.
Boy, this matching board is kind of a mess.
Yeah,
we're going to have to manipulate, and I don't want to spend my turns doing that.
I think that's the thing is you have to, like somebody at some point is like, man, if I want to score matches, I have to lose actions to score matches.
You know what? I'm going to use 1 token with Gerard to do his slash ability.
Okay.
Cost 1 to destroy 2 adjacent faction runes.
Yep. Well, I feel like there's only 2 that are adjacent at this point. Yep, those 2 right there.
Destroy these off the board. These will fall.
Yep.
That helps a little. Elsa's going to summon for my last token one of the hunters.
Nice.
I'm going to have that hunter move.
Yeah, destroy my minion.
To knock you out. The acorn drops.
Sounds about right.
And then Alex, you know what? I am going to have Alex do a slide, actually.
Oh, a slide?
Oh, no.
Ooh, a slide actually helps you. I don't know why I'm helping you. A slide here.
That's not going to help me.
Well, it depends on if you want yellow or if you want you
Right.
want green. I don't know which one you want, the bard or the hunter.
I am going to swap these 2. And that gives me these. So now I've got some tokens left. And now, there's not really anything else I can do. I'm going to go ahead and drop this, though, down here.
Yep.
And this one over here. And this one over here.
All right, so that's it.
Yeah, that's the, oh, you know what, I forgot to put this out again. I'm going to put this on the back row so that you have a distance to travel.
I'm going to ask people to put their bets in now. I'm feeling pretty confident because I do have 4 points, but we only have seen 1 snowflake so far.
Yeah, we've only seen 1 snowflake. We haven't seen any traps set. Well,
that's
not
true.
that you know of. I might have trap tiles here, but one of the coral cards you can play are traps so that when someone triggers it, they're not only just destroyed, but you can choose. They're removed from the board, or you can actually trigger the effect on the trap card.
Yeah. All right, so we'll come back in a few minutes and see who won.
Yeah, we're going to play the entire game. I don't know. I think it's anyone's game at this point still.
You're probably right.
And then we'll come back on the couches and talk all about our entire experience. Well, the dust has settled, or the leaves have fallen. I'm not sure what you'd say about the tree. And I'll get this right out of the way. Ryan did win by, I don't know if I'd say an embarrassing amount of points, but he beat me pretty handily. He had some interesting strategies, and he used one particular hero really well.
I did. I'll say that I can completely attribute my win to Lily, who I have right here. You did see me use Lily a little bit earlier, who can basically spend 2 runes and protect a ally of mine from being attacked. So that kind of let me use my cleric, who teleports whenever they tribute. So it was kind of a good combo. I could basically keep them alive every turn as long as I could generate 2 runes. And then I would just use my other 2 actions. Basically, I started just generating minions every turn.
That's the other thing he did, is he had a ton of minions on his side of the board, and what really becomes interesting that you don't really get, or at least I didn't get when we first started playing, was the idea of managing the matching board such that your opponent has a harder time matching on their turn. You know, you're always tempted to match yours to get tokens to use as resources, which you do have to do, but also matching your opponents is vital too, because you can remove them from the board. Now, when you do that, a line is dropping, so they may get more, but if you look at the discard pile and see a bunch of your opponent's runes already there, and you think, I probably have more in the bag, you could take one of those out and maybe get some of yours out back on the board, maybe even get another match for yourself. But the point is, on your opponent's next turn, they're not maybe going to be able to get as many tokens to power the things they need to do, and you need those tokens to summon minions.
Yeah.
And Ryan ended up having minions, I mean, quite a few, probably 4 or 5 minions at one point, kind of strung out all around his acorns, such that if I was going to even go over there to get his acorns, I was going to have to effectively sacrifice one of my minions on the way, and then hopefully get there the next turn as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a key difference in our strategies. I think that helped me. It actually helped me that you had that airdrop, because when you would bring minions it helped me, because you're tempted. There's that nice little carrot there. When you bring your minions in, you could airdrop them anywhere on the board. But what that means is those minions are not hanging back. So your minions were all on my side of the board. So my minions could just come around and collect acorns without your minions being there to block them. And I think it's very tempting, just like with the matching board, to get your minions on the enemy side of the board and start collecting acorns as fast as possible. But when you leave your backline defended, it is, you know, subject to a teleporter, like my guy that could teleport right into your back line. That kind of thing can happen. I don't know how many characters can do teleports and movement tricks like that.
And that's one interesting thing about the characters, the heroes, is we mentioned that you get 4. You get 2 from each faction, and you're choosing 3. But with more experience than when you play this game after you've played it a few times, you're going to be able to synergize some of those heroes a little bit better and maybe pick specific ones. And we haven't played it all too much. So you could really pick heroes that work well together, you know, like a teleporter and the defender that you had, like Lily and someone else allowed you to move people around really easily and then make them so that they couldn't be attacked that next turn. It's pretty significant.
Yeah, we've used the same factions in our games because we wanted to get familiar with them. But I think if we had taken like the draft
and mixed them differently. Even.
Yeah, and used maybe, because, you know, Guardians was great, but I kind of wanted to use Guardians with your hunters.
Right.
As like the airdrop with the Guardian that could heal, like, it requires a lot of runes.
Yeah.
So you have to generate a lot of runes every turn. But there's some great combo potential.
Yeah, and like I said, also, we weren't playing with the match 4 or 5 that does the...
Yeah, the advanced rules.
Which adds some interesting elements to it as well. One other thing I'll say about the game is the game, like we said, it starts to sort of slowly build up. Then about after, round 3 is when things really started happening. I was thinking, you know, it was going to be difficult to get a lot of acorns matching. But then, I mean, you can have a turn. I had a card, a quarrel card, that let me move an extra move, which effectively let me do just that much more. And basically, in this game, you're looking for how to use your hero's powers and some of those quarrel cards to effectively surprise your opponent and do things that they weren't expecting that you could do. Because they might look and say, okay, well, he has those acorns, but he's not going to be able to get to the tree to tribute, typically, on the next turn. But if I had a card like Quickness that allowed me to move 1 extra step, I was able to get under the tree, move up, and dump or tribute the acorns. And if you're picking up acorns along the way, you can get up there and really tribute quite a few.
Yeah, my favorite card that I had was the Guardians have Set a Watch, which is kind of a nod to Rock Manor's previous game. And that was another one that just let me drop minions anywhere on the board. Granted, they only stay out for 1 round, so the next round I'm shuffling them back in my deck. But sometimes that's all you need to protect your acorns for 1 turn when somebody's getting close to them. So I think I kind of want to experiment with those different decks as well.
Yeah, experimenting that draft at the beginning that you can do where you're choosing your factions and choosing the heroes for them really would not only just add a lot of variety to the game, but you really, as you've played this game, like I said earlier, the experience you get, you're going to learn, oh, I really want this faction and this faction together because I want to try to do this one new strategy that these heroes would have let me do.
Not only that, but the positioning of which of those 3 lanes you put your heroes in matters more than I thought it would. Because when you're spending those runes to summon minions, they have to come in that lane. So if you want to use your hero, whatever hero you think you're going to use less, you want them to summon minions, you don't maybe want them in the center. Maybe you want them on one of the flanking sides.
Absolutely. That's important because those hero powers that I wanted to tap a lot. You want the heroes where you're summoning minions, typically, I think, on the outside lanes is what you're saying. And I'd kind of set mine up maybe not perfectly in that respect, because I was summoning in the middle a lot, which really kind of makes it a little longer. It feels like a little longer route to getting across the board. One other thing I want to touch on for sure is what I would say is probably the biggest hook of the game, and it's that match 3 matching board. I thought when we first started playing that it was going to come into play a little bit, but it comes into play a ton, as you saw during our play, but it came into play even more once we got more things on that board and things were really happening. We were cycling through that bag very, very quickly, because when you drop a line or trigger dropping a line by taking away some of your opponent's tiles, those come on, they may trigger. We had a couple turns where we were literally pulling tiles out of that bag. It was triggering, we were pulling more tiles out of the bag, happening quite a bit. So it was really interesting how that thing whole works. It really feels like one of those apps. Now, how that relates to the snowflakes is also interesting though, because the board starts with 4 snowflakes, 2 on each side at the beginning of the game. And then our personal bags also have at least another snowflake in them. So the game will end when 4 of those are revealed. And by revealed, there's a bit of a train that has to take place to make that happen. So when a minion finds a snowflake, it is put in the discard pile. Then when the bag, the rune bag, cycles, all those tokens, including the snowflakes, are put into that bag. And then naturally, those snowflakes may come out in the various parts of the game and get placed down into the matching board. Then, and this is the final step, once that snowflake is matched with acorns that have been taken from the board, either by you or your opponent, they're going to come out and be put at the bottom of the board. And then you need 4 of those. Now, we did talk to the designer, and they did say that you could play almost maybe even a demo game, or I think you could probably use the snowflakes as just sort of
a timer,
adjusting the timer of the game. You could play to 2 snowflakes for sure. I think in anyone's first game, the game's probably going to take over an hour, maybe hour and a half. We're told by the designers that 2 experienced players could play this game and go about 25 minutes per player. So it could be about an hour game, maybe a little less. But it's all going to depend on if one of those players wants to push the end. It is a completely player-controlled end for sure.
I think that's and just like any kind of war game or any game like this, if you've got 2 players that are heavily defensive who use like turtling strategies, sure, the game can go a little long. It's kind of difficult to predict or to say how long I think the game will go because of that. Different player styles. 2 very aggressive players who are just constantly attacking each other are probably going to get through the game quicker than a defensive player.
Yeah, for sure. A defensive player, and what I found out very badly in this game is when my opponent had a bunch of minions on the board, it really makes it really hard to get anything done, because I had to use that airdrop to basically drop myself into the pockets that he had empty where he didn't have a minion in the back. And then, of course, I'm doing that in enemy territory. I'm surrounded by minions, so you could simply go, okay, and kill me. Anyway, really interesting game. At first glance, the game, as you probably saw, you saw these colorful trees on the board and these fairly abstract tokens. But there's there's quite a bit of meat and strategy to the game for sure, even though it's about woodland creatures. Unfortunately, Ryan came out on top, and he is now the warden of the forest.
I am.
At least between the 2 of us.
I got a lot of acorns.
But that is Alder Quest from Rock Manor Games. This is a 1 to 4 player, 2 players in our case, area control tile laying game with a really cool match 3 element. If you have any questions or comments, please make them below. We'll try to answer them, but we'll also try to get the guys from Rock Manor to answer them. And until next time, bye-bye.